Hey everyone, Scotty Norris here back again. Look, been meaning to get some videos out, it's been a while. I'm actually on 2 weeks leave and it's been great just to chill out and do things with the family. And I've got a bit of downtime. I thought, look, there's one I really wanted to be able to show with the ABX Extensibility series. And so I want to do it, and really this is more of a look of a real world scenario, and this is something that I've done for a customer. Obviously it's in my lab and it's a different application, but it's very similar. And in this instance is essentially I'm deploying an application, and as part of that application I want to set up a dashboard, right? I want to be able to monitor that application. So as well as doing everything else like adding to CMDB and getting your passwords and doing all that cool extensibility stuff, this is actually something that's being used in anger. Now I'm going to go to Wavefront to do this, but there's no reason why it can't be done on vRops either, and I might actually create one for vRops as well. This is just to give you an idea of how cool it can be, right? So let's have a look. I've got my weather application here. Now I think I've shown this on my channels, on one of my series. I can't really remember. Now this is I can actually deploy this as container or as a VM based. It's a little bit of a microservice app that I sort of created to sort of get my head around microservices and how it would work with traditional apps, as well as, you know, using extensibility and how it work with vRealize and all these other things, right? So this is something I just put together for my own learning, and it's a weather app, something very simple. But we can see here I've got my forecast, I've got my geocode, and I've got my web service, and then I've got my load balancers in front of this. So this allows me to scale in and scale out based on the data I'm getting back from being monitored, right? So if we have a look at this and go to extensibility. So what I have here, and you'll notice I'm actually using the vRealize cloud version because that's where I've got this particular app where I demo it. And if I have a look at my subscriptions, so the really cool thing is as of semi recently, we can do subscriptions based on, you know, basically anything that's on the canvas now, which is really cool. So if we have a look at this one, so Wavefront Compute Tags, right? So I've got a subscription for this, and what this is doing compute post provision. It's going to run this assign Wavefront Workflow, and we'll have a look at that. Let's just go back. But what I've also got is load balancer tags down here. So what I'm doing here is I'm going load balancer post provision, right? When I post provision a load balancer, I want to tag that load balancer and that resource within Wavefront, so I can create a really cool dynamic dashboard, right? So this is, as we can see, this is running on the load balancer, but then I've got the reverse too. So we've got cleanup. So I've got cleanup Wavefront. So this is on compute post removal. So it cleans up all the tags out of Wavefront. And then I've also got the same thing for load balancer, right? So on load balancer removal, I want to be able to clean that up. And there's, as you know, if you go through the event topics, there's a ton of different event topics now, right? From, you know, disk attach and disk allocation, you've got disk resize, post resize, like you got some, and you can start seeing like, okay, well that's cool. I want to, you know, do an SSH or do a WinRM and actually configure that on the guest OS after post resize. So this is stuff you can't do in other tools because you'd have to create all that logic and all those weights and everything around it. Where here you can just rely on the system to execute what you want to do at the right time. And it goes right through to Kubernetes clustering, network provisioning, network removal. So you start actually going into, when I'm dynamically creating networks, I want to tag them, I want to create firewalls, I want to do this, I want to do that. So really powerful capability here. So what I want to do is have a look at these actions. And let's actually, because I've got so many, let's filter them down a little bit. Alright, I've got a few here. So I've been playing around with different languages, and I actually ran into a bit of a race condition with maxing out the API on Wavefront for tagging. Like it thinks it's a denial of service or something. I've hit the same thing on AWS as well. You can only do like 5 API requests a second or whatever it might be. And I found that the actually creating the tags in Node was just getting too quick, right? Because it is a very fast language. The setting of the tags, not so much the creating. So I had it all, but then I sort of chopped and changed. So if we have a look at Sign Wavefront Workflow here, it's actually doing create Wavefront here, which is using Node.js, and then I'm just mixing it up, setting the Wavefront tags is using Python. So this is a cool thing. You can mix and match how you please, and to me, for this it worked because it allowed me to and this is cool because it allowed me to try different things out, and also use the right script for the right task that I'm wanting to do at the time. So cool, that's all. The same thing. Now I've actually got the exact same script, so if we have a look at set Wavefront tag, it actually takes into account whether it's So if we have a look at set Wavefront tag, it actually takes into account if it's a load balancer or a machine. So I'm actually using the same action. All I'm doing is I need a different subscription because it's a different resource and a different life cycle. So I'm able to use some reuse there of just having the one for both load balancer and virtual machines. Alright, so look, they're the actions. There's nothing much to it. We've got our create Wavefront tag, which essentially creates the tags that I want. So we can see I've got an app tag, and it takes the custom properties out of my blueprint. It takes a service tag. It takes the custom properties out of my blueprints as well. And it's got deployment ID. So I'm actually going to have a drop down for the deployment ID within the dashboard so I can see which deployment's which. And then it returns the outputs. And then on when we set the Wavefront tag, again, it's just going through each one of those things in the payload that I've created. It's the one, and that's going to set all those different tags. So it's actually 3 tags per resource that I'm provisioning. That just allows me to put them in the correct space and correct order and the correct dashboard and everything like that. And then the same thing for remove, right? So we're removing the Wavefront tag, well, we're just doing the reverse of that, right? All good. Alright, so what we'll do now is we'll kick this off. So I'll just go to design, we'll deploy this, deployment name, go next, and I'll go to AWS, and look, let's just keep it simple, let's just do one of each. And I might do another video later of actually how this scales out. So I actually did this for vForum last year, demoing the scale out capabilities of this auto scale out based on the stuff that comes back. So this is deploying now. Now if we actually just go over to, I've already got one provisioned. So here's the weather one here that I've got provisioned, and we can see, it's all good. If I go over to our weather and Wavefront, we can actually see, you can see our deployment there, and that's our VRA deployment tag that I'm using. And we've only got one there at the moment, and as you can see. And we've got one healthy node, for each one of them, and that's all it's got. We can see the user experience latency, you know, how many milliseconds the geocode and the forecast service is taking to respond. We can see the load balancer latency for each one of the services. We can see the active requests. We can see any bad 400s or any of the good backends. And this is the actual app here. So, you know, I haven't put a Route 53 or anything in it at the moment, but we can set a city or a town or a postcode. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day, and it comes and finds it. So if we camera, and we can even go down to, you know, Sydney as an example. Cool. You know, so it all works. So if we go back to Cloud Assembly, let's see how this one's going. Alright, so it's deployed a number of them. So Extensibility, if we go to Action Runs, we can see that they've kicked off. See they assign Wavefront, so it's already done the create tags. Now it's assigning the tags. It's done the create tags, it's assigning the tags, etc. So that will go through for hopefully 6 resources, so 3 VMs and 3 load balancers. And now we just got to wait till it finishes. Okay, so that's all done. You can see they all completed successfully, which is great. We have a look at our deployment. So that's our deployment, it's all finished. Now let's see if the actual app is up and running. So I'll just get the load balancer address here, put that in. Hey, it's up and running. So ooh, some of the services haven't come up yet. Let's see if it fixes. Can take some time for the AWS load balancers to see that they're healthy. So we'll just give it a little bit. Hey! So I told you it would just take some time. So, well, I got Canada out of that, but let's have a look. Yay! Okay, cool. So, yep, that's the right one. They're different. Yep. Just make sure that I'm not telling fibs here, that I didn't just redeploy with the magic of video editing. But no, it's all good. Cool. So, yeah, awesome. Oh. Yeah, that's still figured it out even. Cool. Alright, so that's all working. So the app up and running, it's working like a champ. And we can then go to, now let's look at Wavefront, and what we'll have a look at first is our sources. And we able to see these paths down here. So I can look at VRA. We can see there's the 3 tags that I want to do. We've got the app, we've got the deployment. So we've got 2 deployments in there now. So one of those deployments will match up with, if we go back to our dashboard, just so that you know, so we've got the 2 there. Deployment 3A8. Well, they're both there now. So that sort of ruined it. So this was the previous one. So that was DB2C. And then we've got our new one, which has just been deployed. And we can see here all the data is starting to come in. Now it's not fully fleshed out yet, but as more requests come in, they're gonna come through. and they'll start getting those in. So let's have a bit more of a look at the sources. So this is the new one. So the old one was the DB, so that was the old one, and you can actually see here's all the resources belonging to that. We can see we've got the ELBs, we've got the normal EC2s, ELBs, EC2s, with all the appropriate tagging that I've put on them. And this is the new one. So you can see this is 51, 50, 51, 53, 54, 56, 57. And if we go back to our Cloud Assembly and we look at web server, 56, 53, 50, and then load balancer is 57, 54, 51. So they match up perfectly, which is good. And yeah, so that's great. It's all there. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to delete the old one and it'll all clean up within here. So there's no actually cleaning up needed after it. So you make sure you clean up all your messes when you deploy it, right? So there's the new one going there. They're starting to fill out now, which is good. And then I'll also expand out and we actually see this change. Now it does take a bit because obviously it's got to wait for the resources to be available in the end provider, like AWS for instance. So what we'll do first is I'll go to, got too many cloud assemblies open. We'll go to this one first. We might want to, let's update it. I'll change the web count to 2, just the web count, you know, to handle that load that I'm getting. Yep, cool, it's gonna do the difference, submit, great. Okay, that's off and doing that. Now what I'll do is I'll clean up the old one. So let's go to weather, and let's go to delete. Submit. Alright, so that's going to start deleting, and when that deletes, we'll see the action runs come in for that delete to remove all those tags. So let's just, through the magic of video recording, speed up this process. Need to remember to put my phone on silent when I do the videos. Even though I'm on holiday, I'm still getting hundreds of emails and messages. Alright, let's see how this is all going. Cool, so we can see the remove has started, so we'll see a lot more of those come in. We'll also see the new assign come in for that one that we're expanding, which is good. Alright, cool. So that's removed. Hopefully clean up. The deployment should be, yeah, it's basically gone. Our new deployment, so now we've got 2 web servers in here, web server 1, web server 2. Now hopefully yep, cool. Hopefully if we go back to weather, so what I want to do is it can take a little bit of time for it to be removed, but I'll look at the sources. So if we look at our tags, hopefully we should only have 1 deployment, and we do. So we've got the 1 deployment, which is great. So everything else has been removed. If we look at this, we actually have an additional, so there should be 7, 5, 6, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yay! Alright, so that looks like it's the new thing has come in. So that old deployment's been cleaned up. Now the one that usually takes a bit to clean up is the actual dashboard. The dashboard still thinks it's there or not. Yeah, it still thinks it's there. There we go, it's gone. Alright, so this is our second one. Now it is going to take a little while. I think it's a couple of minutes before it comes in the AWS metrics. is and this depends on the end cloud zone that you're looking at, but this will change to 2, hopefully, fingers crossed. Yay! And at last, 2 healthy web nodes after the scale out. And obviously, if you scaled in, that would remove on here too. So a fully dynamic dashboard based on your deployment, your scaling, whatnot in VRA. Very, very cool stuff. Look, hope you enjoyed. It's just more of a view on what you can do, and this is something that actually is used in anger, right, out there in the wild today. So all the best, stay safe out there. Until next time, see you, bye.